I have a problem with being hardcore left wing. I am broadly left wing, I am broadly liberal, I'm broadly all these things. I'm mostly anti-conservative, mostly anti-Republican, mostly conservative party, all these sort of things. I am broadly mostly woke. I'm broadly mostly all these kind of things. The issue that I have is that I am, I would say that it's out of fear. I am scared of going along with like my feelings, and then it could be in 100 years, 500 years, being looked on upon as people who were like, oh, I swear to God, like this is my own entire belief system, and it's just the way things are, and everyone agrees that all the smart people, all the leaders in society believe it, all the media believes it, all the smart people that this is the case, and they're talking about perhaps maybe black people not being as good as white people, or our religion not being as good as another religion, or the earth being flat, or things about women, about the place of women in the home, things like that. So I'm acutely aware. Like I do have like and ironically faith. Maybe I do have some sort of faith because I'm an atheist, but I do have some sort of maybe faith in the fact in my methodology that I I look at things, I read things, I watch things, I think about things very very critically, and um, I think that I come to good conclusions, or I come to not really say good conclusions. That seems a silly thing to say. I come to logical conclusions about my kind of morality or my political, religious, societal views. I'm not a massively political person. I keep up with all the different things about the caucuses and the votes in this and the Congress and this and the Parliament and all that. No, I don't do that. But for the important actual values and views and things like that, yes, I think about that a lot, and I read about that, and I listen to that, and I think about that a lot. And I grew up. See, the interesting thing is, I grew up in a religious family, not a hyper religious family, not super religious, but a pretty damn Catholic family, going to church every week, christenings, communions, confirmations, all that sort of stuff. My whole family was Catholic. Um, and then as a teenager, I realised to myself I had to actually break free of that. And I'm not going to get into this now. That could be a whole other video. That could be like a 5 hour video. That wasn't correct, in my opinion, and my logical deductions. That wasn't correct. So I think that I have maybe an inbuilt sort of, due to that, an inbuilt sort of need to question everything that I think, because I'm like, oh, I personally feel I got duped once. I don't want to get duped again. So and this video could be so much longer, but I'm trying to fit it into a smaller video. That I agree. I mean, 100% that everyone have equal rights and things like that, and like freedom of like speech to an extent, and obviously pro gay people, pro trans people, pro anti racism, all this sort of obvious sort of left wing stuff and pro woke stuff and all that sort of stuff. But it's like I will watch a lot of like right wing things, or like centrist things, or like discussions between both sides or different sides, because I really want to educate myself on what people are saying. And I would, the fact that I went if I hadn't like witnessed other things in my life, I mean, I don't know, I might have discovered my own opinions independently, maybe just through my thought. But I do think it's important to expose myself to um differing opinions, things that I maybe hate, things that disgust me, things that I disagree with, things like, because if I listen to them, then it can either affirm my opinions, or if it makes me question my opinions, that's a good thing. I want to be able to question my opinions. I always want to be questioning things, thinking about things, refining. I think the most important word is refining your opinions. I'm not saying give up everything you think and just listen to someone and believe it. No, listen to everyone that you can, even if you think they sound terrible, they sound great, they said whatever. Listen to them, and actually try and really listen to them. Even if you go, this is horrible. I've tried that. I just watched a video about this fucking guy on some channel called the Heretics on YouTube, who I've watched before, and he seems like a fucking twat, right? And he interviewed Dom Jolly, who used to be on a show called Trigger Happy TV back when I was like 12 or something, and I was a fan of him. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Is Dom Jolly right wing? Because it seems like a right wing kind of podcast. And the thumbnail was like something like, he wasn't expecting what he was going to get or whatever, or I wasn't expecting this and didn't go how I expected, and I was like, okay, this is I'm intrigued, and like I say, I'm interested in hearing these kind of discussions. Even if he's like super left wing, she's super right wing, I want to hear the talking points, and I'm watching it now. I'm close to the end of it, but I just felt like I had to post something just now. So the idea is that it's interesting because watching Dom Jolly, he's following along with, he's falling, I wouldn't say falling for, that seems very judgmental. He's agreeing with a lot of the stuff this guy says. I don't know his name. I'm just going to call him Twat, makes a fucking twat face, right? But he agrees with a lot of stuff he says, and I'm like, I can see why you're doing that. But within the context of other things I've seen of this fucking guy, I know that your kind of tricks and your kind of, you are actually trying to, you're very, very, very blatantly, in my opinion, trying to portray a certain like image, or trying to a certain vibe that to him, to try and get him to be on board. Like you're kind of go, oh yeah, I see what you see and I see what you say and all this and all that. I do believe this and I do believe that, but you're not going to hardcore. If you were speaking to one of your like pals who's super hardcore in the same way you are, you wouldn't be acting like this. You wouldn't be as subtle. You'd be a lot more kind of extreme. But you're trying to like be like, oh, I'm intelligent, I'm thoughtful, I'm considerate, a lot of sort of stuff, and have this kind of conversation. And I'll be honest, it is interesting to hear different viewpoints about things. And I want like I don't know what it was, about 8 minutes in, I was like, I cannot keep going, because he said something about, what was it he said? He said he's a British guy, and I'm obviously in Britain, I'm Scotland, but Britain, even though I just call it Scotland, Scottish. But he said all Muslim countries, like we shouldn't accept any immigration from Muslim countries, from Muslim countries, and I was just like, oh, you fuck off, man. Like, I work with Muslim kids. Like, Muslims people are like amazing. Like, it doesn't, not all Muslim people, not all Christians, not all fucking Jewish people, not all atheists. Everyone's fucking nice people. Everyone's fucking cunts. It's not like one religion is just so much better than all other ones. Especially when we're talking about the major religions, right? There's obviously extremists in all kinds of religions. And sure, there might be like, maybe in Islam, there might be some issues that in certain areas of the world that are things that a lot of us here would be like, this is totally not on. We very, very disagree with that. Very, very, very much disagree with that. And that's fine. But the fact that you're trying to be like, let's ban them all, and I'll listen later on, I eventually go back to brought my courage up and decided after about an hour later, right, I really want to finish watching this because I need to, for myself, I want to actually learn about what people's thoughts are and listen to discussions, even if it's very uncomfortable. And he's like, basically saying like it's well, it's better kind of almost to take out the larger idea to kind of get rid of the smaller idea. You know, like if there's like, oh, there's quite a lot of them doing that, so let's get rid of all of them just in case. And like I'm happy Dom Jolly was pushing back a lot. I mean, I was very like, I was worried. I was like, is he going to be super right wing? Is he going to fall for this? Because in the clips, he was like, oh, yeah, I agree. Oh, I'm starting to agree with you. Oh, I didn't think I'd agree with you. Oh, good point. And all that sort of stuff, right? So I was like, oh, man, are you really, please, please, please. You seem like you're kind of a smart guy. Don't go wholeheartedly into this. Like, I'm all for like agreeing with points in an argument and a debate. I do that. I can agree with people that disagree with me fully. You know, I don't have like hard and fast rules for every single aspect of morality. I can dip in and out of things and try and work things out. That's fine. But luckily he did push back a bit on that sort of thing, and he was like, look, I think he has family from Lebanon. They had a debate about how to pronounce Lebanon. I think it was Lebanon. Anyway, that's not the point in this video. But he was sort of saying like we shouldn't really target people based on their religion and all that sort of stuff. Of course they shouldn't, right? And I think that you cannot just be like, Muslim countries can't have people coming into Britain, because there's a zillion great Muslim people. There's a zillion bad Muslim people. There's a zillion bad people in this country. It's just people are people, okay? Unless you have like statistical proof that you go, okay, in X country, I don't know, I'm not sure what the percentage would be, but even if you say like 30% of people in this country are all going to do this horrible thing that's going to hurt people, then maybe that would be a sort of cause for concern, and you might sort of look into like, this country is a danger, or maybe this is really actually something we should consider about how we let people in. Maybe we should have a cap. Maybe we shouldn't let people in. I can see that debate happening there, but he didn't present any data about that. It was all about just very, very fucking vague. Muslim, there's Muslim this, there's Muslim that, there's Muslim this, there's Muslim that. Like, yeah, of course there is. There's lots of bad Muslim stuff happening. People who are Muslims who are doing bad things and stuff in the name of Islam. Of course there is. But what percentage of of Muslims are doing that? What percentage of them are coming into the country? What effect is that having on the country? He never mentioned any of that. It was all this vague, scaremongering tactics. And, he has this whole kind of vibe about him. Like, I would really recommend you look him up just to check what I'm talking about. It's called the Heretics Podcast. That he sort of is like, oh, I'm quite intelligent, and I'm actually a liberal. I'm a classical liberal, and I know politics and all this. And he's Jewish, and he talks about how he's Jewish influence. He's an atheist Jew, I think, as far as I'm aware. That his Jewish background influences his opinions, because due to like oppression and things like that. And okay, fair enough, I can understand that. But if you're such a smart guy, then you would really be able to put that in its place and kind of realize that in this country, that Judaism is not an oppressed people in anywhere near the sense of like, I don't know, gay people or trans people or Islam, Islamic people or brown people. It's like, I don't have the stats, but from my experience as a 37-year-old man in this country, I mean, maybe I'm in Scotland, I'm in Edinburgh. I don't know any Jewish people. Maybe it's different in other places, but from what I've heard and from what I've experienced, there's not that, like, Judaism is not a major factor in prejudice. Obviously, I'm sure I'm not disputing the fact that people are discriminated against and that there's also horrible things happening. But, however, in my experience, I've experienced tons of people being discriminated against: brown people, Muslim people, gay people, trans people, bi people, LGBTQ people, all these kinds of different other things. And at one point he was talking about the hierarchy. He was like, oh my God, there's like a hierarchy of I can't remember what the exact context was, but he's basically like, now there's these rules about like, or someone's stating these rules about hierarchies of who can be discriminated against and things like that. And he was talking about like Islam and Muslims and black people and gay people and things like that. And he's like, oh, Judaism wasn't up there. And I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm probably quite ignorant towards the plight of Jewish people, because I've never grew up with anyone who was aware was Jewish. Judaism is not a big thing at all where I'm from in Edinburgh. Like, there's barely, I don't remember anyone ever identifying as Jewish and explaining that to me that they're Jewish here. Obviously, I know in England, in certain places, and maybe other places in Scotland, there are much bigger Jewish communities. I've heard of that. But broadly speaking, I would be surprised if those communities were more overall. If you're talking about the whole of Britain, if you could argue, like, if you could sort of put in on a scale of something 1 to 100 or percentage wise, who's more discriminated against, I'd be very, very surprised if Jews were more discriminated against than Muslims. And it doesn't even have to be Muslims. It's just the fact they might be Muslim because they might be discriminated against because they're Muslim, but they're discriminated because they're brown or they're Indians or they're Pakistani or whatever. I grew up with that all the fucking time. People would call them BAKI. That would be a word that was just so common. And it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or you're whatever. It's not a religious thing, but the people that are Muslim often are obviously brown and would be called those names. So that even if it's not for their religion, they are getting discriminated against largely. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I literally say I don't have the statistics of. I don't even know if there are statistics about Jewish discrimination in Britain and things like that. But I think that's him just trying to kind of bypass the point that a lot of this stuff is race based, is based on prejudice, racism against brown people, against Muslims, and then he's also trying to maybe bypass. He says he's like, oh, I'm not against gay people, I'm not against abortion, I'm a liberal and all that. It's like, good, that's good. But are you really like? It's like you're using liberal. See, I don't know all the definitions of all the political words, but I feel like liberal is often associated with progressive and maybe left wing and things like that. That's my impression. But he's sort of like, oh, I'm liberal, but I'm also super right wing as far as like immigration stuff goes. Saying that no one from Muslim countries allowed in the country is fucking batshit crazy. That is like Hitler stuff. No one from basically no. He's trying to basically say no Muslims can come in the country. Ban no Muslims in the country. That is so horrendous. I work with loads of Muslim kids. They're sweet fucking little kids. You know, it's absolutely horrendous. It's heinous. And this guy has like a channel with, I don't know, I mean, this video has 197,000 views. He's people like David Baddiel. He's got Dom Jolly. He's got whoever on it. He's probably got, I don't know, 500,000, 1 million views. Millions of views probably. I've not checked, but like, I hate this sort of stuff. It's like the friendly, not the friendly face, but it's like the sort of academic, thoughtful, considered face of basically the Tommy Robinsons of the world. If you don't know who Tommy Robinson is, a right-wing nut job who fucking, well, sorry, I'm very emotive when I say these things. I shouldn't say that. That's very, but a right-wing person who's had a lot of legal battles and is basically, I think, as far as I'm aware, I hope this isn't slander, a racist. And he's a political figure and a lot of people supported him. Nigel Farage, I would say allegedly racist, with a lot of allegedly racist people supporting him. The Tory party, the Conservatives. I know obviously not everyone who supports him is racist, but I would say if you only had a two-party system with the Labour Party and the Conservatives, I would say 99% of the racists, 99.9% of the racists would vote for Conservatives. So, what does that tell you? So this channel, it really fucking grinds my gears, man. And I've really tried to listen, and I don't know how far I'm like have 40 minutes and 50 minutes. I'm 50 minutes into this video, and I've really tried. But check this channel out. I'm not saying bombard him with hate comments or anything like that. I mean, I gave him a downvote just because I've seen his stuff before and I fucking hate him, and I don't want him to get promoted. And I want, because I think his stuff is harmful. I don't want to corrupt other people. But have a little look. You can see what I mean. If you correct me if you think I'm wrong, I'm happy. I will debate you all night long. And I'm not saying that in like a machismo kind of way, like, oh, I'll debate you and I'll beat you. Just genuinely, I will discuss stuff with you. I'm happy. I like discussing stuff with people, politics, whatever, culture, society. I did anthropology as a degree. I care a lot about this sort of stuff. People and the way people think about people and stuff like that, basically. And sorry, I can't remember exactly how I started this video. It's been a bit of a rant. I might have not got to whatever point I was going to get to, but this is definitely enough. It's been a 20-minute long video. So I appreciate if you're still listening, and thank you very much. I normally just post jokes and silly stuff. This is more of a heated thing, but I felt it had to be said. So there we go. But thank you very much. If you agree or you disagree or whatever, please let me know in the comments, likes and dislikes. Thank you, I appreciate that. And I do post genuinely very funny jokes, I think. So please like it if you want to hear some funny jokes. Have a flick through my channel, and thank you. Really do appreciate you listening, even if you disagree with me. Appreciate taking time to listen, engage in discourse. If you disagree, please leave me a comment. I genuinely mean that. And thank you. I'll see you in the comments. Cheers, guys.